Welcome back to MIRA University. I'm your host AJ, and today we're going to be talking about wildfires. Only you can prevent misinformation.
The wildfire season is now officially the worst ever recorded.
2023 has been the hottest year on record. We've seen record drought, heat waves, and all of this spurred on by global warming. In August of 2023, over 55 million Americans found themselves trapped in a heat wave area. With climate change driving more and more extreme weather events, we have also seen an increase in thunderstorms at an exponential level. If you're a reader of our blog, you undoubtedly know that I have written multiple articles on wildfires, and they are absolutely no joke. If your home is in a fire-prone area, there's a few steps that we can take to secure our property and our belongings. The most important thing that we need to do is ensure that combustible materials are stored away from our main home. And if we have a shed or other hardened structures, we are keeping brush and other vegetation far away from those structures. When we have vegetation and brush close to a structure, that gives a direct line of fuel should a wildfire encroach onto our property. With that said, fire lines are also an incredibly efficient way to make sure that we're breaking that fuel line, which is our ultimate goal in this scenario. If you've seen the viral video of a farmer using a combine to run along a fire encroaching on his property, you can see the effectiveness of a fire line in cutting off a fuel source. A fire line is creating a break between two connected, combustible, flammable materials. Wildfires are extremely unpredictable, however, and sometimes we might need to evacuate our area. However, when evacuating, there's a few things we need to take into consideration. First and foremost is wind direction. That's going to determine which direction we evacuated. Next, we need to consider physical road conditions. During a wildfire, there's going to be a lot of traffic over them, not to mention smoke passing over the road and potential actual physical destructions of the roads themselves. Additionally, we need to consider road traffic. If we're near a large metropolitan area that needs to be evacuated, we may run into extreme bottlenecks. Now, the best way to ensure a smooth evacuation is to prepare beforehand. Some things that you can do is sit down and discuss with your family some of the dangers that you may face in a wildfire. It's a good idea to drill locations and evacuation plans. For example, where are we going to go? Where are our vehicles kept? Where are the keys for those vehicles? And where do we keep our safety kit? Next, let's talk about what we want our kit to look like. First and foremost, we got to make sure we have water, a first aid kit, but we also want to make sure that we have some high quality survival gear. We have here the CMI-01 with a wide panoramic view. Is going to give you maximum visibility in smoky environments. We have here the VK530 filter. It filters out smoke particles and converts carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide for up to 15 minutes. A quick note on vehicles. So in the event that we need to take off in a hurry, it is essential to make sure that your vehicle is prepared to do so. Now, as a general tip, you should always check your fluids and make sure your oil is good, but especially if we're expecting that we're gonna have to make a real quick trip soon. Check to make sure that you're keeping fire blankets inside of your car, and also ensure that your car is full of fuel, and make sure that you have a little bit of extra as well. This is essential because we do not know what those road conditions will be, and if we're gonna get stuck on the side of the road. We need to make sure we have everything available to us. Now that we're packed and ready to go, we need to review a few other conditions before we get moving. First and foremost, we have to talk about what time of day. So, wildfires don't exactly pick daytime or nighttime, and each one brings its own perilous conditions. When talking about daytime evacuation, this may be the busiest time, as visibility with daylight is going to be the most advantageous for most. This can lead to extremely congested road conditions and is something to consider. Driving at night brings its own hazards, as we no longer have daylight to guide us. We need to make sure that our headlights are operational and that our high beams are also working as well. I know sometimes I get behind on my vehicle maintenance, but make sure you're keeping up with it if we're worried about a wildfire. Also, moving during the night can be very difficult with increased smoke, as your lights will just disperse and we won't be able to see anyway. Whether driving during the night or driving during the day, we also want to ensure that we're not getting in the way of first responders heading to and from any affected areas. So, in especially dire situations, you may find yourself needing to operate a vehicle with a mask on. Let's talk about some precautions with that. First off, if you are driving and you encounter a smoke cloud that you cannot avoid, it is important to turn off your air conditioning, roll the windows up, and if absolutely necessary, don your mask with filter. Now, even though the CM I-01 has a wide panoramic view, we are still losing quite a bit of peripheral vision. However, again, this is a dire situation. We need to survive. It has to be done. Make sure that you are driving the speed limit, if not under it, at possible, and also make sure that we are staying cognizant of the lines of the road. The lanes may be hard to see with that much smoke, so keep an eye on your road markings on your right side and also on your left side, and try your best to stay in the middle. A great trick to do this is to stare at the middle of your steering wheel, place your left hand at the 11 o'clock position and your right hand at the 1 o'clock position. Put your thumbs like this, use your dominant eye, and ensure that your thumbs are staying on the lines as you drive. Now, before we find ourselves having to drive through smoke, we have to consider if we're going to go through a wall of smoke. Now, this is extremely dangerous and inadvisable unless you absolutely 100% know your wind direction, where that smoke is coming from, and where that smoke is going to go. Once you drive into a wall of smoke, it can be all bets are off. However, in a dire situation, if you have to do it, take these tips into consideration. Now, if you are a tech-savvy person, one thing that could turn the tide in your favor is using a video drone. If you stop right before the wall of smoke, and again, if we have time to do this and it's feasible, deploying that video drone up into the air might help you see what's going on. This could even save your life. Now, if you don't have a drone, obviously it's not an option, and if you don't know what's going on, turn around and find another route. Look, wildfires aren't going anywhere, and they're only getting worse. We want to make sure that we're giving you the best information possible to help you stay prepared. We hope you enjoyed your time with MIRA University today. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. I'm your host AJ. Stay savvy, survivalists.